Hey, I think we're going live. Oh my goodness. YouTube, come on. Get it together, YouTube. Yeah, there we go. All right, YouTube says we are now live and streaming. Thank you guys for joining me once again for a lunchtime live stream where I am going to have a wonderful lunch of this huge tray of cream puffs. I saw these at the store today, just store, bakery, everything like that, at my local Safeway, and they look so delicious. I had to pick some up. They look really, really good. I've never had the cream puffs from the store bakery before, so I am looking forward to it quite a bit. Well, guys, we've done it. Once again, we've made it to Friday. We've all survived. Thank you guys for joining me as often as you can. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys, eat something crazy for lunch, talk about whatever is at the top of my mind. And I realized that it's been 2 weeks since the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest, World Championship, 4th of July, New York City, Coney Island, all those good things, etc., etc. And I have not even spoken about it a little bit, so I thought it'd be cool to talk a little bit about that. Maybe it's old news for everybody out there, maybe not. Maybe you guys just showed up to take a look at my pretty face as I eat some cream puffs, which I'm going to do right now because I'm pretty hungry. It's been a long day. I've been working pretty hard. I've been working really hard all week, so I'm going to chow down, get my energy up, and then we'll talk about Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest that happened 2 weeks ago. Oh my goodness. I saw that on the camera. Just a big scoop of cream come out. All right, so this this tastes kind of like halfway between like a clotted cream and a whipped cream, which is really sweet. It's really nice, actually. I do like it. I don't always like whipped cream. I think it can be a little bit light, not a whole lot of flavor going on, but this is nice and sweet. I think it's pretty good. I think it could use with just like a pinch of salt to kind of bring out the flavor in it just a little bit, but otherwise pretty good. The pot de choux pastry is actually also very nice. Got a good body to it. I think that if it was a little bit fluffier and a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more toothsome in the center, that'd be good. But I don't know, maybe that's what you get for getting pastries that may or may not have been made on the day. Oh my goodness. These things are incredibly messy. But still, quite good. So if you guys ever get a chance to pick up some cream puffs at Safeway, why not? Give them a shot. We of course do have a couple of varieties of these things. So I also want to try one of these ones that are covered in chocolate. I have a feeling the chocolate is going to make this an even messier affair. Let me see what I can do. Let's see if I can clamp off the bottom of these so whipped cream doesn't shoot out everywhere. Oh yeah, that little bit of chocolate on top just adds an extra dimension to the flavor. That is very, very good. I've never actually seen cream puffs with chocolate on top, so that's something a little bit new to me, but I approve. It's hard to go wrong when you've got pastry, whipped cream, and chocolate. All right, so let's get right into it. I mean, Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest 2020. Of course, everybody knew that it was going to be kind of a strange affair. With the lockdown and everything, it was basically impossible to have the normal kind of hot dog eating contest that they've had in years past, with giant crowds, with the table just stacked with so many contestants, so many people competing. It was just going to be impossible, especially given the fact that right now, New York is kind of like the epicenter of everything that could possibly go wrong with the pandemic. I mean, you got tons of people all crowded together in a big city, maybe not getting outside quite as much as they should. the latest indications is that people who spend a lot of time outside are basically safe from the pandemic. Like, something about being outside in the sunlight is really helping people stay away from getting sick with this. Ooh, pardon me. So they had to go take like basically megalithic measures to make sure that they could still have the hot dog eating contest. They were not able to have nearly as many qualifying contests in the previous year. I was doing a little bit of research on the Nathan's Famous hot dog, or the Nathan's Famous website, and I did come across this. A page which describes the just laying out all the 2020 regional winners, which are the qualifying contests that you have to like go and compete in. Like, anybody can sign up for any of the Nathan's Famous qualifying contests, and then if you win one of those, then you get invited to the the July 4th big contest on Coney Island. And lo and behold, there's me right there in one of the contests. Usually this page is like stacked with a ton of contests, but of course, so many of them did have to get canceled this last year that they only had 2. So there was only a handful of folks who actually qualified to be in the July 4th contest. Of course, anybody who's won the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest in the past is also just kind of like gets grandfathered in. They don't have to qualify. They can just show up if they want. And that basically includes Michelle Lesko and Mickey Sudo on the ladies' side. I don't know if there are any other active female competitive eaters who are like grandfathered in that way. And then on the men's side, there's Joey Chestnut and Matt Stoney. Those are the 2 guys who have won the, theoretically, Kobayashi could show up if you wanted to sign on with MLE again. But I don't see that happening anytime in the near or not too distant future, or I should say the near or distant future. I think Kobayashi might be just about done with Major League eating for his own reasons. These cream puffs are a big mess. I'm kind of liking it. So, with the field so small, they had to basically wipe out the qualifying contest and just invite like the people who were not too far away from New York, who were able to get there, who wanted to be there, and of course the big names that like people would recognize that they'd actually tune in to the July 4th contest for. So I believe the original lineup for the women must have changed quite a bit over the while they were iterating on it. So let me see if I can find the lineup. Here we go. Let's just check out the results for the ladies contest, which is actually pretty incredible. We had Mickey Sudo breaking a record with 48 and a half hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, which is just incredible, which is her personal best. Then second place came in Laurel Marie, which I mentioned I had never known who Laurel Marie was before, but it turns out she's a pretty good hot dog eater. So she came in second place with 18. Katie Prettyman got, she was invited kind of late in the game. It was originally thought that Katie was not going to show up, but she got invited a little bit late in the cycle. She showed up, did a great job with 15 hot dogs and buns to get third place. Fourth place, Julie Goldberg with 8.5, and then last place, still a good showing by Dr. Renee Rovtar with 7 hot dogs and buns. Now there is, of course, one name that is obviously missing that you might expect to be up there, and that's Michelle Lesko. I believe she lives in a state that is closed to travel to New York at this time, so she did have to drop out. She was not able to make it because of that, just like she wasn't able to make it. So I think that after she wasn't able to make it, then the invitation went out to Katie, which she did travel from the Seattle area. She made that huge flight over to New York to do this contest, which I think is pretty awesome of her. So congratulations to her. I'm really glad to see that somebody from Washington was able to go and represent the ladies. Now the men's results, again, everybody expected Joey Chestnut to win, but I don't think anybody expected Joey Chestnut to pull off 75 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes to set personal record, the contest record. He just blew the top off of everything. Everybody had really high expectations for this, and Joey Chestnut totally exceeded those expectations. Also there in second place, I think it's no surprise that Darren Breeden, I believe Darren got second place last year with, I think he did like 50 or something like that. I could probably look it up, but we're just going to say Darren Breeden, he's a regular at the 4th of July hot dog eating contest. So he did a great job with 42 hot dogs and buns for second place. Nick Weary, another guy who originally was not supposed to be there. I remember Nick actually sent me a direct message sometime in the middle of June asking if I was going to show up. I said that, the Major League Eating guys sent me the message, sent me the email that said basically, sorry, we can't have you there this year. Which I totally understand. I'm not bitter over that or anything like that. And they said basically that hopefully I could make it for July 4th next year. So July 4th, 2021. That's going to be my year, baby. So, I let him know that I wasn't going to be there. Nick and I kind of commiserated like, it's kind of a drag that we're not going to be able to get to go. So it was clear in the middle of June that Nick also was not expecting to compete. But he was planning on being there to support Mickey because, of course, Mickey Sudo and Nick Weary are like the power couple, one of the power couples of Major League Eating. So I think that when they found out that a couple of the guys who were supposed to be there ended up not showing up, not being able to make the trip, then Nick Weary kind of like I think he was basically there, so it was kind of convenient. It's like, hey, we need somebody to fill out the table, so Nick Weary is here. We're going to stick him in the table. So I think that's basically what the story was for him. I don't know if that's 100% true. I'm really glad that Nick was able to be there because he is a heck of a competitor. He can eat a lot of hot dogs and buns. Of course, as shown by his results, he did 39 and a half hot dogs and buns for third place, which is, it's mind-blowing. I think if I was there, then I'd probably have done 35 to 40, somewhere in there. So maybe Nick and I could have done a little bit of a head-to-head there, but I don't know. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Fourth place, George Chigger with 24 hot dogs and buns. And rounding it out, I don't think it would have been July 4th, Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest, without Eric Badlands Booker. He's been a mainstay for so many years. He's been there. I don't know if anybody's done more Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest than Eric Booker. So I'm glad to see that he was there doing his thing. He rounded it out with 20. Now, there are a couple of names in there, like I said, just like the women, there are a couple of names in there that you would expect to see, but that were not present. And I think Jeff Esper, one of the best guys in Major League Eating, I expected him to be there. I think he expected to be there. He was putting out the message that he was expecting to be there the week before the contest, but I heard down the grapevine that he decided not to be there, not to show up, so he kind of like pulled himself out of the contest pretty late in the game. So maybe Nick took his spot, maybe he didn't, I don't know. But I think that was a personal decision on his part. I couldn't say why. He's been pretty quiet on it, but you know, that's kind of par for the course for Jeff Esper. Like, he doesn't put himself out there quite as much as some of the YouTuber and more YouTube-friendly competitive eaters do. So he's usually pretty quiet on social media. He hasn't said anything about it, and I'm not going to press him on it. I think that if he just didn't want to be there, that's totally his business. That's totally cool. But also, Matt Stoney, of course, like, I think everybody knows who Matt Stoney is, so lots of folks were expecting him to be there. He, unfortunately, also currently lives in one of those states where travel is not allowed to and from New York, so he was not able to make that trip. So he was also not going to, it's basically the reason he was not there. Now, it was definitely a different contest than usual. If you were able to watch the ESPN coverage, it was kind of a strange contest. I think that they did the best they could. If you listen to the Fink Beats the Stomach podcast, FBTS Pod is how they advertise themselves. They did a great recap of the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest on their latest show. You can check that out. It's a really fun listen. Always good to hear from those guys, hear what those guys think. But I mean, just looking at the numbers, like, it's it's pretty insane to see the kinds of numbers that Joey and Mickey were able to lay down. People expected, it was controlled conditions, so people expected that it was going to be a little bit cooler, maybe a little bit easier. Folks at the contest said that the hot dogs were still pretty tough, which eating a ton of hot dogs is really, really tough. I will say that of all the eating contests that I've done, speed eating hot dogs, one of the most difficult speed eating contests that I've done. So it's no big surprise, but still, I think there was a little bit better conditions than usual. The eaters might not have been quite as crowded. On the other hand, it was a very small crowd, a very, very small crowd watching the contest take place, and not too many people live watching it. They were all inside of a room. I can't remember exactly where it was, but yeah, they were all inside controlled conditions with basically just a couple of people there and a couple of people for filming, a couple of press folks, those kinds of things. So I could see how that might affect somebody who usually relies on getting pumped up from the crowd. I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I am a little bit surprised that Joey Chestnut was able to pull out world record. I'd mentioned that I feel like sometimes he really plays to the crowds, and sometimes he feeds off that energy to improve his performance. It turns out he really pulled it out and was able to do an excellent performance, eat a ton of hot dogs. Unfortunately, it did look like fewer people tuned in on ESPN than in previous years. So I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, it could be just that you didn't have the same kind of like groups of people all hanging out together at like a 4th of July barbecue, and somebody says, "Oh, hey, let's turn on the TV and see that crazy hot dog eating contest." Kind of like the word of mouth aspect of it wasn't there. It is a bit of an impulsive thing to watch on 4th of July. So I think with fewer crowds, fewer groups of people gathering together like that, then of course you're probably going to get a little bit lower viewership. As per usual, you get a couple of haters out there talking about how this is totally wasteful, how it's absolutely awful to see these people wasting so much food all in one time. And I always have to push back on that. Like, it's a couple of folks doing something kind of silly, basically for the sake of shenanigans on one day. And Nathan's, the hot dogs, the company, got together and donated 100,000 hot dogs to local. I can't remember if it was one food bank or if it was a couple of food banks in the area. I think it was just one food bank in the area. So they definitely do go out of their way to, make sure that they're doing charitable, good acts, stuff like that, to make sure that they have a positive impact on the environment around them for the day. So I guess all in all, like, I was really glad to see the contest go forward, even though it was quite a bit different. I mean, there's a big question of whether this is going to be a mainstay, whether it's going to go back to business as usual. Like, hopefully all this pandemic shenanigans is going to be, all sorted out by the end of this year. I couldn't imagine this continuing for another 9 months, for another 12 months, and having this affect the 4th of July 2021. But I don't know, man. I didn't expect these things to be going on quite as long as they did, or as they have been going on. So I guess it's entirely possible. I just want this stuff to be over, basically. Like, I want to get back to business as usual, being able to travel around the country and do eating contests with Major League Eating. So hopefully things are going to go back to normal. I don't know. I mean, like, I'd love to hear from you guys. Did anybody tune in to ESPN to watch the eating contest while it was happening? Unfortunately, I don't have cable TV, so I wasn't able to tune into it live. But I did get some of the feedback from the various, basically like Twitter accounts, social media of everybody who was there. So it was good to see like how everything rattled out. And I will say, in retrospect, I was looking at the, pardon me. I was looking at the contest here, the prize payouts. First place got $10,000. Second place got $5,000. Third place got $2,500. Fourth place got $1,500, and fifth place walked away with $1,000. So everybody who showed up, every single competitor who showed up to eat, got a fairly significant payout at this. And I think I could have gotten third or fourth place. So Like, I think it is kind of a drag that I didn't get that payout. It would have been nice to get a nice fat check like that for 4th of July. But that's all right. I'm not hurting for money. I think folks know that I'm not exactly rich, but I'm not exactly a pauper either. I get to make my own way out there. So hey guys, I want to say again, thank you guys for hanging out with me in these lunch live streams. It's always fun to hang out. Always kind of kooky to show up and eat some strange food, stuff like that. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I'm gonna try to get through editing my current challenge. I can't even remember what I did last weekend, but it has been a horrendously busy week. I know I say that so often, but hopefully, with any luck, I'm going to be able to finish editing my latest challenge. Oh, of course, I went to the store over the weekend and just basically like bought up a ton of stuff from their half price, like day old bakery stuff. I had a pretty good time with it. So hopefully I'll be able to get that out tomorrow or Sunday. If not, sorry guys, I'm going to do my best. Well, again, thank you guys for showing up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have been enjoying these lunch live streams. Going to be doing them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from now until whenever. I don't know. I'm going to keep it up. Going to keep it up as long as I'm working from home. And with that, I'm going to say, hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to eat some more of these cream puffs. Even though they are extremely messy. Having a lot of fun with that. All right, guys, until next week, you guys take it easy. Have a good one. Stay hungry, stay happy, all those good things. See you next week.